Just imagine a world without shoes. We never invented them. In the same way we don't wear gloves every day, we're not wearing shoes every day. So all our running, walking, jumping, hopping, skipping, leapfrogging, all that done in bare feet. Well, that was us 10,000 years ago, and we were quite happy then. No arch support, no comfort foam 3000, none of that, and we were fine. Look, a little bit of context for you. I'm in Italy right now, which just so happens to be the home of Vibram, the people who brought you these things. So I thought, wow, this is a pretty good place to do a little bit of a history lesson, right? Because at the end of this video, if you're a comfort-loving, foam-supporting, cushioning shoe lover, you might just question your footwear choices. Right, before we go any further, I know they're called barefoot shoes, and I don't know why they're called barefoot shoes either. It wasn't my idea, but put a pin in that for now, because right now we need to go way back in time. It was around 50,000 years ago that people started covering their feet, basically because they were a little bit chilly. So things like support, performance, comfort, none of that was on their radar. In fact, they didn't even have radar. And then one day, some archaeologist dug these up. That's around 9,000 to 10,000 years old. So basically, for nearly 3 million years, we've been walking around in bare feet and doing fine. And here's the really cool thing. You can see the evidence in us because we evolved to become great endurance runners because that's how we hunted. So over time, we developed springy arches and strong calf muscles and strong glute muscles in our backside. So we could run long distances and outrun our dinner. Pretty soon, those simple handmade shoes started becoming status symbols. Every caveman around town wanted a pair. Then we moved to the 1800s, industry gets involved, and before you know it, virtually everyone's wearing shoes. Then we move up 100 years and we start thinking about performance. And I think footwear designers started getting a little bit bored, and they thought, what can we do to improve performance even more? Maybe add in some cushioning, some arch support. Let's squish the toes together, see how that goes. Pretty soon, we started making shoes that made our feet lazy. They didn't have to do so much, they didn't have to work so hard, because the shoes had done all the work for them. Now this is where it gets really interesting, thanks to this guy, Daniel Lieberman. He's a paleoanthropologist at Harvard University, and he woke up one morning with a question. How did humans run for millions of years without modern cushioned running shoes and not hurt themselves? Good question, Daniel. So he went away, did some research, and he discovered that people who run in barefoot tend to land on their forefoot, as opposed to people who run in cushioned, thick, supportive shoes, who tend to land on their heel, which creates a much bigger impact force. And then when you took the shoes away, he found out that people started gradually reverting back to running the way Great Uncle Caveman did. So over the next few years, things start kicking off a bit, no pun intended. There's Robert Fleury, an Italian designer who liked a bit of mountain climbing on the weekend, and he was playing around with the idea of inventing a shoe which had less support on it and allowed his feet to move the way nature intended with just a little bit of protection. And there were other footwear manufacturers doing a fairly similar thing and working on similar ideas at around the same time. Then we get to this book. That's Born to Run, written by journalist Christopher McDougall, who loved a bit of running, but he kept getting injured. In fact, specialists told him he wasn't built for running, and he thought, well, that's a bit odd, because we've been running for millions of years. So he did a bit of research, and he found a community living completely off-grid in Mexico who run just to get around, wearing little shoes they call huaraches, just a thin bit of rubber. Not a podiatrist or a sports physiotherapist in sight. And by the way, that book was a New York Times bestseller for 4 years, so it got a lot of attention. So here we are with shoes that do nothing more than just protect your feet from the elements. Thin soles, room for movement, shoes that were made to allow your foot to move rather than restrict it. And now we've got more barefoot shoes than ever before for all kinds of things: walking, running, hiking, going to the shops, or just hanging out in Italy. What started out as a fringe idea has grown into a bit of a movement. But we haven't invented something new, we've just remembered something old.